Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Azalea Akari, and welcome to week 6 of the Amberflight Gaming Giraffe League Season 10. In the Littleroot Division, this week I will be going up against RainyDaesyn and the Jirachi Starfall. On my screen we have our two teams. As always, my team is the same. Before week 5, we had the free agency and trade deadline, essentially. Where our teams are now locked. My opponent's team is as follows on the screen. We have Mega Floette, we have Hisui and Samurott, we have Rotom Heat, we have Terra Trapinch, Ogerpon Hearthflame, Terra Hitmontop, we have Mega Glamora, Aegislash, Rillaboom, Meowstic with Terra, which has both Meowstic male and female. Both of them are pretty much the same. Then we have Dunsparce as my opponent's final Pokemon. So, going into the week, let's talk about who I brought and didn't bring. I was looking at the matchup, and I thought that Nidoking looked pretty gangbusters, but the more I looked at things, the more I was maybe a little less convinced. And even though I do think that Nidoking would have been fine this week, for some reason I found some way to convince myself to not bring Nidoking against a team that really hates poison types. Next up, we did not bring Volbeat. I was really looking for a way to bring Volbeat this week, but unfortunately it did not happen. However, hopefully we get 1 week with Volbeat here. And the last Pokemon to not come this week, its first time not being brought to a match is Deontay. I didn't really like Deontay's matchup this week, obviously having to go into a Mega Glamora. Mega Glamora is pretty strong into Deontay. Has Earth Power. It doesn't really take anything from much of the moves that Deontay likes running besides Earth Power, which is 4x. But I figured I'd have other ways to deal ground damage to Glamora, so that would be fine. So this week we have brought Victini, Darkrai, Zapdos, Mega Skarmory, Terra Tangrowth, and we have brought Slowking. Okay. So let's go take a look at the Pokemon that I will be bringing for the week. All right, here's my Pokepaste. This is the team that I am bringing. We will start on the left, go down, and then go back up to the right and down. So we'll start with our Darkrai. We have Negiboss in the Darkrai with Expert Belt this week. I didn't really want to take Life Orb damage, which may have costed me some damage in the long run in the match. I should have done Life Orb versus Expert Belt Calcs, but either way, I chose Expert Belt. We have 120 HP, 252 special attack, and 136 speed, with Dark Pulse, Sludge Bomb, Thunderbolt, and Thunder Wave. So this week, as you can kind of see, you'll see throughout the team, we were trying to do paralysis. I was trying to have a little bit of a game plan to spread paralysis throughout my opponent's team. To make it a bit difficult, make it quite difficult. Next up, we have Carlos the Zapdos with Boots. We're running the static ability, 240 HP, 252 defense, and 16 speed. 16 speed is to be faster than any Pokemon that might be speed creeping a no-speed Zapdos. We have Defog, U-Turn, Discharge, and Roost. Discharge having a 30% chance to paralyze. So we'll sacrifice the 10 power of attack of damage of our attacking to have the potential to paralyze. Because we're not doing that much damage anyways as is, because we don't have any special attack investment. So yeah. Next up we have Victini the Victini. We're running another Choice Scarf set. We're running 120 HP, 252 attack, 136 speed, just like Darkrai. This is to with a Jolly Nature. This is to outspeed Hisuian Samurott with a Choice Scarf. We're gonna run V Create, U-Turn, Zen Headbutt, and Bolt Strike. I decided this week that we're not gonna run. We're gonna make sure we have a move that can hit a Pokemon in case we're gonna run a move that can hit like a Rotom Heat type Pokemon, because Bolt Strike and V Create cannot hit it. U-Turn does almost no damage. And I didn't really want Victini to just be a fast pivoter for a Rotom Heat. So we're running Zen Headbutt this week. Next up, we have Tangrowth. We have Plant Monster, the Tangrowth, running Assault Vest with Regenerator. We're running Terra Poison this week. Instead of running Nidoking, we're just going to run a Terra Poison Tangrowth. We have Sassy Nature with Giga Drain, Knockoff, Earthquake, and Poison Jab. So we're running a minus Speed Nature, 258 HP, 8 attack, 252 special defense, which I thought was pretty good. Definitely does a lot of work for us. Next up, we have Stefan, the Mega Skarmory. We're holding obviously our Skarmoryte. Our ability to start will be Sturdy, but Mega Skarm's ability is Stalwart. Jolly Nature, Brave Bird, Roost, Rock Slide, and Drill Run. Rock Slide being for Rotom Heat, and also potentially if we wanted to, and if there was some world where we needed to run if we needed to click Rock Slide instead of Brave Bird into Ogre Pond. I don't think that would have I'm not sure it would have KO'd it, but it could have been pretty strong. And then Drill Run is specifically because of Rillaboom on the team, which will put up grassy terrain, which will affect earthquakes and stuff like that. So maybe there was a world where you don't run Earthquake on the Tangrowth for that purpose, but we were going to click Poison Jab into that Pokemon anyways, if that was the case. Regardless, last Pokemon is going to be our Slowking. It's going to be Chili Billy to Slowking, running Colbur Berry. A Regenerator ability, 200 HP, 252 defense, 56 special attack, which was meant to be able to 2-hit KO a no investment Hammerot, or a very low investment Hammerot. We have Signal Beam, Scald, Teleport, Thunder Wave with Bold Nature. So we had the plans to have a lot of paralysis being spread this game. What would I say I'm most concerned about? I'm not actually concerned with Scarf Hisuian Samurott. I think Mega Floette could be a potential issue for the team, but I think we're covering it pretty well with a physical poison attacker. Like, I think Nidoking, if I had brought it, would be a physical attacker, just simply because I would have needed physical damage to hit Mega Floette, but also using it to hit things like figuring out which side Rotom Heat is stronger on, I guess, potentially. Either way, it works out. It worked out that I was not bringing it this week. Never considered Deontay this week at all. In Volbeat, I had small considerations to try and find a Terra type, to hit, to just be able to prankster, just be able to keep usage of prankster Thunder Wave, but we ended up not going with that. Okay, so with that, I will be back after the match to go over the replay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my match with Rainy has concluded. So let's take a look at what happened. Here's my team. My opponent brought Rillaboom, Hisuian Samurott, Dunsparce, Mega Glamora, Ogerpon, and Trapinch. Okay. So we can go ahead and start the replay. So I will explain it. I'll explain my thought process with this. We'll run it pretty slow. Going into this game, my main goal was to lead the Victini and try to see what would be led by my opponent. My opponent ended up going for a Dunsparce lead, which I was pretty happy to just specifically not want to get hit by a glare or a body slam and potentially paralyzed on my Scarfer. So I was always clicking U-turn here in this case, which I do. We click U-turn. We switch in our... So I go Slowking for the specific reason that I figured it was glare or something like that. So we get paralyzed, absolutely fine. Then we Thunder Wave back and paralyze the Dunsparce. Next up, we get a switch, and I just teleport out, which allows me to bring Zapdos in. I did try to paralyze. So instead here, my opponent switches to Dunsparce, and I just click a Defog. Slowking is in. And Little Critter gets paralyzed. Another paralysis, and I get to click a Scald, which does 23%. So I'm just trying to chunk this thing down. The greatest turn in Pokemon history happens here, where we both get where it's a double paralysis for both of us. That is 3 turns of paralysis in a row for Dunsparce, which is so brutal. I was very funny what happened there. I just clicked Scald again just to deal a little bit of damage. Stealth Rock up. I think I just teleport out here. Yep. Get my Pokemon all the way back up. Carlos comes out again, and now I figure it's gonna be something. I'm just gonna click Defog pretty much. So it is Mega Glimmora here, which means I am in danger of taking a Power Gem and dying. So I decide here to switch to Tangrowth, I believe. No, I go Slowking here. On what turns out to be a Smackdown. I think Rainy was expecting me to go for my Steel type, but I already learned from earlier in this year that from my week 1 that Skarmory does not take on Glimmora very well until I Mega. Sorry. So I decided to go for Tabili, which that Smackdown does nothing. Then he switches to Nom Noms, and I click Thunder Wave, and it does nothing. And here I am essentially trapped and either have to click Teleport or some other move. I know we're gonna get Terabug into something. Obviously Terabug, like first impression here, is very scary. I just kind of have to pray that this Trapinch does not KO. And it comes out, and it does 88%. And if I had gotten full parried and had not gotten the teleport off, I would have been very upset. But instead, we're able to go straight into Victini and deal a lot of damage. So we switch out to Zapdos here. Uses Scald. No burn on Carlos, which is nice. But that was also interesting. You learn now that it's a special attacking Samurott. So I didn't even really register anything here. That was a nice big discharge. I switch to Tangrowth here on what I assume is going to be a Power Gem. I was right, and it did 36%. I didn't really do any calcs. Not gonna lie, I didn't do much calcs during the game until the end. But I figured here that I could be easy. I could go. I could just click. Now what I realize now is that I'm kind of in a weird 50-50 where if I go where my opponent clicks Sludge Bomb and I stay here, I actually could die. And on the other hand, if I go Terra Poison and they click Earth Power, I'm also risking something potentially. I should have done calculations to realize that Terra Poison's always the correct call. So I click it because I'm like I do not want to die to Sludge Bomb. My opponent reads it, clicks Earth Power, does 39%, and I click Earthquake and I get the KO. So I take first blood I take the first KO onto the Glimmora. In comes Trapinch. I Poison Jab. Clicks Earthquake and gets the KO. So I was fully accepting of that. I knew that I could just now bring Victini in, and my opponent is going to be forced to switch or something. So I click Bolt Strike, and I get a crit, which makes me realize that this thing is so physically defensive. It's definitely Eviolite. Like, there's no doubt it's not Eviolite. So I just switched to my... I just switch here and he goes Pain Split, which is really nice for me. I'm able to then just hard switch to Zapdos and a Paralysis. I don't know what this move would have been. It might have been Glare. It could have been Stealth Rocks. Switches to Trapinch, and I just click Discharge and get the KO here. So I'm in a really decent position here. Like, my Slowking is gaining HP, and my Victini, Skarmory, all my attackers are still fully healthy here. So I just click a U-turn here. I didn't realize somehow I was faster at like whatever my speed is to Rillaboom. Rillaboom must have almost no speed, if that's the case. Usually I figured that we're gonna have enough speed where Rillaboom's just gonna come in and outspeed. Will always kind of outspeed, and I'll be okay. Like, I'll have to eat some damage. But I was able to switch out into Skarmory on a SD. And Skarmory, obviously very slow Pokemon at first, but when it Megas, it goes to 110 base speed. So I'm always faster than Rillaboom. So I just decide I just assume my opponent is going to switch probably. But if I can hit anything with a Brave Bird here, it's very good. Does not switch out. And Rillaboom goes down in one hit, with me taking 41% recoil. And this moment is definitely something that I had to consider. My brain is like, I knew building this team that this was going to be a speed tie situation. We are both 110. We are probably both 350. So I am clicking Brave Bird. I know there's no reason for me to switch here. I don't want anything to take an IV Cudgel. Even though I'm pretty sure that Billy could take one. It's not 300. It's not 33%. It's more HP now. After my second switch. Zapdos. No way do I want Zapdos to go down. IV Cudgel is not a contact move, so we have to risk it. And my opponent goes first, so it's okay. Gets one KO here. Allows me to bring Darkrai in. And Darkrai can just click Sludge Bomb, and everything will have to eat it. I'm wondering if I was Life Orb, or even Specs, if this would have KO'd. It probably would have KO'd with Specs. Definitely. Instead, I get U-turned, and I get dropped to 30 HP. I do switch here. I do decide to switch. I was like, it's a little odd that they brought Hisui and Samurott in. Even though I'm faster, I could get a lot of chip. I honestly probably should have just taken the damage. I could have just clicked it, but I for some reason, I wasn't sure if my opponent was... I don't know what this Pokemon got the click off in front of, but it might have been off of a switch. I might have still been worried about whatever. If I had just clicked Thunderbolt, I think I would have just KO'd. I thought that this was Scarfed. Turns out, it was probably a good thing to switch. My opponent clicked Vacuum Wave. And here, I click Signal Beam. I'm clicking my last move in Signal Beam. I know my opponent's going to click a Dark move. I don't know if it's Knockoff. I don't know if it's something else. Like, they clicked Vacuum Wave and Scald, so I was assuming maybe like Dark Pulse, essentially, in my head. Which it was Dark Pulse, and my Cobra Berry eats it. But then, instantly paralyzed. Instantly, like, essentially losing me, like, a big opportunity to blow out this game. This makes the end game a lot harder, in my opinion, with this. I have to switch to Zapdos, who has to eat a Dark Pulse. And I have to... And they switch, I guess expecting me to be faster. I just click Discharge. And then I just get a second Discharge. And then I just Roost for free, because I knew there wasn't a way for me to really have any issues. Unfortunately, I should have just clicked Discharge again, but I wanted more health. I believe, yeah, Stealth Rocks comes out. I click Discharge again. I could have clicked Defog, but I didn't want to risk Pain Split. Ogerpon comes out. I have to let Carlos go down here pretty much. He clicks Knockoff. And I just clicked Roost. Kind of my bad, but like at the same time, not really. I live in Ivy Cudgel because of it. And then I'm able to click Discharge and get rid of the last Pokemon. But like my opponent probably thinks that they're slower. I probably did click the move. Probably did click a move. I don't remember. I think I clicked Discharge here because I thought that it would just be nice if I could hit it. Unfortunately here I made a miscalculation. Essentially, I forgot that I'd taken Colberry off. If I had looked at the Colberry, I would have always just gone Victini and just fired off a Bolt Strike. I was trying to do my best to not have this game essentially come down to, a potential miss. Realistically, I could have gone Darkrai at 36% potentially. Looking at the damage calcs, Dark Pulse came out and KO'd. That was my bad for that. I shouldn't have let that happen. But I knew that I was Scarfed, and I knew that Bolt Strike KO'd. Bolt Strike was doing like somewhere in the 70 to 90-ish range, I think. I don't think it ever one-shot, but it was low enough then where Bolt Strike KO'd. So I was able to take the win. So like I didn't calculate I didn't do a good job calculating the vacuum wave. I wasn't sure how it was gonna play out. Either way, we got the win and we stopped a 3-game losing streak. Heading into the backstretch of the season. I probably need to win the next 2 weeks with my differential to make playoffs. I need to get to 5-3. I think if I'm 4-3 with a bad, if I get to 3-4 with a bad diff, I'm probably out. And I can't make playoffs. But if I do win next week and I get to a positive, if I get to a positive differential, then I can maybe get there. But the differential issue for me is going to be massive going into back half of the season in the last 2 weeks. And my schedule does not get any easier from here. So thank you, Rainy, for a great battle. And thank you so much to everybody for watching. Week 7, I believe I play Hazel and the Chicago Chicaritos. So I'm looking forward to that. Their team is very strong. Another very strong team. So sorry for the lack of uploads. I will be I will probably have weeks 4 and 5 already out, but I think that 4 and 5 will be are going to end up being a double feature, potentially. And if not, it'll just be 2 separate videos, and they will go up a little bit before this one. But I have been so busy, that I just haven't had time to make the videos. But I wanted to get all of them out. So, thank you for bearing with me. The last 2 weeks, with less going on, I should be good to get everything out pretty quickly during the next weeks. And hopefully I make playoffs. But yeah. Until next week, have a good rest of your day, morning, evening, night, and then your week as well. And I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.